So 1972 was a very big year for me. Number one, I graduated college. Number two, I got my first real full-time job. And number three, I stopped collecting comics. Stay tuned for the video.
Anachronic.
Hi comic book fans, I'm Joe and welcome to Anachronic Comics. So one thing first, if you haven't taken a look at my channel membership, please do so and consider it. All the money collected goes to charity. So see if you can help out. Now, I'm starting a series today of a number of videos where I am looking at the last year that I collected comics. That's 1972. Now, 1972, I graduated college, as I said. I got my first job. My life was changing in a positive direction. And although I did buy some comics later on, a few years afterwards, I really didn't collect anymore. Matter of fact, the only one that I really remember trying to collect all of the particular issues was the DC Shadow Run, which I'll show at some point in time. So I did buy some other comic books, but this was the last year where I really was fully into buying comics. And only for part of the year, probably until maybe October, because I remember I was a high school teacher, and I started working in September, frankly, So at that point in time, my interests were going in other directions. So what I did was I went into the box that I had that, was at my parents' house and that I've been pulling out the comics for the Comics Mom Let Me Keep collection. And I decided, let me take a look and see where the bulk of the last number of comic books that I bought was, and it was 1972. So I've pulled them all out, and I'm going to have 4 or 5 videos on them, so you can see which books were the ones that I had interest in at that time. And obviously it's the Bronze Age books. So the first one, this particular episode, number 1 I guess, is about Marvel superheroes. And we start off with the one that I really was interested in at that time, and that's Captain America. So the first book I have here, all right, is Captain America number 149. All right, it's from May of 1972. All right, so it's nothing special about this book other than it's a Captain America book, and it's a typical Captain America story where he's fighting against an evildoer. So this is Captain America number 149 from May of 1972. The next one, and you could see I didn't buy them necessarily every month. That just wasn't the thing that you did those days. You went to the store and you picked up a comic book, right? The next one is Captain America number 152 from August of 1972. All right? Cry Vengeance. It's Captain America and the Falcon. All right? The Falcon was his hero, I guess, in these particular Captain America issues. The next issue of Captain America is number 153 from September, and this is a key. It's the first appearance of William Burnside as Captain America, and the first cameo appearance of James, I believe it was, or Jack Monroe as Bucky Barnes. All right. So, and there's a whole story behind this. It's when during the 1950s, when Cap was frozen, other people took up the mantle of Captain America, and William Burnside was one of them. And the next one is number 154. All right, another key, and this is the first full appearance of Jack Monroe as Bucky Barnes in this particular issue. All right. And my last Captain America from 1972 was number 155. Here you go. And 155 is a key also, and it's the origin of Jack Monroe. All right, the origin of William Burnside as well. And the story kind of retcons Captain America's appearances in the 1950s to William Burnside. So it wasn't the real Captain America, even though you saw some comic books. Cap was frozen during World War II, and so those old stories that came out in the original Captain America was not really Steve, it was just William sitting in for him. So kind of interesting. Something I didn't know until I read this book. All right, from there we go on to another superhero, one that I really didn't buy a lot of comic books about, or maybe have a handful of them, and that's Daredevil. It was just never somebody I really got into, even though he worked in Hell's Kitchen in New York City, where I lived for a lot of my life up to that time. So this one was Daredevil number 88 from June of 1972, and it's a key because it's the origin of the Black Widow, specifically how she met Ivan Petrovich, right? Yeah, Ivan Petrovich. And so it's a pretty cool story. Just reread it again. Origin of the Black Widow. The next one is also another hero who I never really got into. I wish I did, but I never got into. Just one that I didn't bother collecting. And it's Iron Man. So I bought this one. I think you'll see why. It's Iron Man number 40, the Invincible Iron Man number 47, all right? And this particular book recounts the origin of Captain America. So it is recounts the origin of Iron Man. So you can see that it's a key. And it was written by Roy Thomas, though he does give credit to the original story and the original artwork, I guess, of Lee and Kirby in this particular issue. So that's Iron Man number 47 from June of 1972. I have three more from this Marvel superhero set. The next one is Marvel Team Up number 3, and it's a key also. All right, it's a team up of Spider-Man and the Torch, plenty of them in those days. People like to see the two teenagers teaming up. I certainly did. All right. So in this one, this is a key because it's the third appearance of Morbius. All right. And the Living Vampire. And the cover's by Gil Kane, which is kind of a plus. Next one I got is Warlock, number 1 from August of 1972. And it's a key. All right, because it shows the origin of Adam Warlock. And it also shows that the Emerald, he made appearances in Marvel Premiere first. And it shows that the Emerald that he had in Marvel Premiere number 1, I believe it was actually the Soul Stone. All right, so it has some key components to this comic book. And the last one, again, was one that I didn't buy, but I'm looking at this and I'm saying, why didn't I get number 1? It's from October of 1972. It's The Defenders, number 2. And I looked far and wide. I looked in the box, looked in other boxes. I don't have number 1. It is a key because the Silver Surfer joins the Defenders in this particular issue. Defenders number 2 from October of 1972. So again, 1972 was the last year where I really was into comic book collecting, and where I really had the last big tranche of comic books that I bought because of graduating from college, starting a new job, etc., etc., etc. So I hope you enjoyed this foray, this first one, and we'll have a few more. I think the next one's going to be DC superheroes, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be well, and I'll see you soon.